Restoration, listen, Luke chapter 10, verse 2, Jesus says, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. In Matthew 9:36, Jesus is wandering through the streets of Jerusalem, and he sees the crowd, and it says that he sees them with eyes of compassion, like sheep without a shepherd. The question I have for us here at Restoration is, how do we view those who are far from God, but close to us? Close to us in terms of proximity, close to us in terms of relationally. How do we view them? Do we view them as sheep without a shepherd? Do we see them as the harvest of which God sent Jesus to rescue and redeem? Listen, Restoration, as we embark on the holiday season, there's going to be opportunities for you to engage, whether it's this coming weekend with Halloween, right? Whether it's Thanksgiving or the Christmas season. There'll be opportunities for us to practically, very tangibly love our neighbor. So I would just challenge you, encourage you. Number one, who can you be praying for right now who's far from God but close to you? And then, would you pray that God will show you opportunities to engage with your neighbor, maybe your literal neighbor, over the next 3 months as the holiday season is approaching, as I think is one of the most sensitive times for people to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit and what he might be doing. I want to encourage you with that. Hey, listen, in Matthew 28, Jesus tells his disciples to go, right? We want to be obedient to that here at Restoration. It's part of our mission to make and equip disciples of Jesus who love, lead, and serve. And so there will always be an element of going. But sometimes God brings the nations to us. And as you know, we've been praying for two families specifically over the last year or so. One family from Afghanistan. They are here, right? They are here right now. The Azizi family. And one little girl in particular, her name is Dunya. She's a little girl about 8 years old, and she's here to have life-saving surgery at MUSC. Right now, they are here in kind of care of Restoration Community Church. And so many of our church family have been reaching out and providing meals or providing transportation, just loving on them. And there's opportunities for you to do the same. And so if that is something you are interested in, please reach out to Pastor Sean, and he'll make you aware of the opportunities to kind of, again, just a practical opportunity to love our neighbors, where God has brought our neighbors from different nations to us to care for, at least in the short term. We're also praying for a family from Cuba. Continue to pray for them that the process will work itself out and that God will bring them here to Restoration Community Church. There's some needs around that. There's some financial needs. There's some logistical needs. As the Lord lays that on your heart, I'm going to ask you to give specifically to the missions fund, or that you would just reach out to Pastor Sean and let him know that you are available to do that. Speaking of availability, listen, you are never more like Jesus than when you are serving. And so with the 3 services coming up in January 7th, there's going to be opportunities for you to engage very practically in the mission of Jesus right here at Restoration Community Church on Sundays. And so if you are not currently actively serving, let me just ask you, would you consider serving on one of the teams, the impact team, whether it be the production team, the hospitality team? Would you consider getting off the sidelines and into the game right here on Sunday mornings for January 7th. Beautiful things are happening. We already have several people committed to being at that service at 7:30, and also to serving people who haven't served at all ever. And so I want to say thank you to that. God is on the move. And listen, as I mentioned on Sunday, one last thing. When God is moving at Restoration Community Church, we know that the enemy is looking to attack. So I want to ask you to be on guard, pray for unity inside our church family, and pray that you would be a part of that solution to maintain and fight for unity, so that the Spirit of God will continue to have his way in and through Restoration. Love you, church. Looking forward to Sunday as we continue our series on King David. Be on mission.